afternoon. It's your girl Rachel from What's Up Dallas magazine. I have a wonderful guest on my show with one of the most powerful testimonies that I actually got to view a few minutes ago. Miss Elizabeth, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on your show today. I'm so excited to be here.
It's my pleasure. So I know a mutual friend of ours had connected us, and she says you have a story that you really need to tell everybody. So
Uh, yep, it's definitely my purpose. I've been given a message to share with the world.
absolutely. So with that being said, Elizabeth, what is your testimony?
So I was a beautiful 14-year-old girl. I was chasing my dreams and of making it big on the country music stage, very popular, play every sport. Um, my life was easy. Everything was going for me. Everyone wanted to be my friend, and I always had a boyfriend. But then one week into my freshman year of high school, my entire world was turned upside down. We were traveling down a rural two-lane highway when all of a sudden we were struck from behind. This sent our vehicle into a tailspin, which then proceeded to barrel roll multiple times until we finally landed in the field on the opposite side of the highway. With every roll, my head was at the point of impact. EMTs would arrive at the scene and I had to be cut from the vehicle, resuscitated multiple times at the scene to get me stable enough to be transported to the rural hospital where, frankly, they weren't equipped to meet any of my medical needs. So I would then be life flighted to the nearest trauma center an hour and a half away by car. Once at the trauma center, I was given less than a 25% survival rate. The neurosurgeon would inform my parents and my family that I had suffered a traumatic brain injury, and they would need to place me in a drug induced coma to allow my brain and my body the best chance of survival. They said the first 48 to 72 hours were the most critical, and if I survived that long, my chances should improve.
Mm.
I made it through the first 72 hours. It was come and go in the very beginning, took a turn for the worse within 24 hours when my brain began swelling rapidly again. Doctors working frantically to find the right medication in order to bring down that swelling. And that was actually when my family would first discover the true power of prayer and how prayer can make miracles happen. There was a Calvary Baptist minister in the pediatric ICU unit that night that offered to pray with my family. It would be in this prayer that my mom would feel a weight lifted off of her shoulders. She knew that I was going to survive in that moment. Approximately 1 hour later, the doctors were able to find the right medication to bring down my swelling and get me stable. I would remain in this coma for 3 weeks. Once I woke from the coma, I was reduced to that of an infant. I couldn't do anything for myself. I had to rely on someone to help me with absolutely everything. I was no longer that independent, beautiful 14-year-old girl chasing her goals and her dreams and making it big on the country music stage. I couldn't speak. I couldn't stand. I couldn't do anything.
Mm.
It would be 3 full months of hospitals and rehabs before I would make it back home for good. Finally, walking without a walker, no longer needing a wheelchair for long distances. But this was when I discovered that the rehab, that wasn't gonna be the most difficult challenge that I would ever face. The
Mhm.
most difficult challenge that I faced was getting back into school. I was no longer the girl I was. I had died in that car accident. I had to rediscover who I was. Um, I've been thinking more recently over the last couple of years about how Jesus had to die on the cross for us. I died that night. I, like him, had to learn how to rise above and be able to overcome. it was challenging. I came home from school multiple times a week for years and told my parents that I should have died. I wish I was dead and I want to kill myself. My friends' lives had gone on. They were still playing the sports we loved, working their part-time jobs, going out on the weekends. They didn't have any time for me, nor did they seem to care if I was around.
Mhm.
That was devastating. I dealt with judgment. I dealt with rejection from people that didn't know the car accident or know me before the car accident. They would see something physically wrong with me and they would decide that I wasn't worth their time.
Mhm.
This too was devastating.
Mhm.
When I would throw myself down on my bedroom floor, crying out to God, asking Him why He did this to me, what did I do to deserve that? That's when I would receive my answer. And my
Mhm.
answer would come in the form of a voice on my heart, a voice that would bring me the only comfort and peace that I would receive in the first 5 to 6 years after that car accident. The
Mhm.
voice would say, I have a plan for you. You can't stop. You have to keep going. And I knew in those moments that I couldn't stop, that I was going to need to one day be for someone else exactly what I needed in that moment. So I would begin going to bed every night, no matter what had happened during the day, with a thankful and grateful heart, thanking God for my life, thanking Him for my blessings, and asking Him to lead me, to help me to make the right choices so I could help those He placed in my path. I didn't know how and I didn't know when any of that would occur, but I knew that I couldn't stop because what I was suffering, what I was enduring and going through, I wouldn't have wished on a single soul.
Mhm.
I prayed for everyone in the world because I just couldn't imagine anyone else suffering in the same way that I was. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to anyone.
Mhm.
I then had to commit myself to getting up every day. It was hard. 10 years I would struggle with this, getting up every day, trying to find my path, trying to figure out how to keep going. But
Mhm.
over that 10 plus years, I've learned that committing to being the best version of myself every day when I get up,
Mhm.
chasing my passions that perfectly align with my purpose, and my purpose perfectly aligns with God's will for my life and His plan.
Mhm.
I have no doubt in my mind that whatever you're dealing with right now, He has a plan for every single one of us.
Mhm.
You can't stop. You may not know what that plan is, but if you stay stuck in the cycle of depression, anxiety, just not moving forward, you're never going to discover what that plan is. And that plan, that's what is so much more rewarding than anything you ever could have asked or dreamed of.
Mhm.
That's where I am right now. I
Mhm.
I'm pinching myself because this feels like a dream.
Mhm.
I'm now able to help others. The last 12 to 24 months, God has given me clarity that I had developed strategies recovering from my car accident that would help me to stay strong, losing my dad 8 years after my car accident happened in a fatal car accident. It's for him. My mom was worried about me when
Mhm.
she broke the news to me, how I was going to handle it, but she never expected me to be her rock.
Mhm.
But it was only due to the strategies that I developed that I was able to stay strong or stay resilient.
Mhm.
Years later, I would find a church that would actually have a Celebrate Recovery. I didn't know much about Celebrate Recovery, but I knew that it was for drug and alcohol abuse. I would later learn that it's for anyone struggling with hurts, habits, and hangups. And I would begin getting up on a stage, sharing my testimony from a stage. That's when I saw the impact. Working as an occupational therapist the last 12 years, that's
Mhm.
when I discovered the power behind my story and how that can bring hope.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ever quit telling your story.
Right.
Vulnerability isn't a weakness. When
Mm-hmm.
you can be vulnerable and open up, that's when you show strength. That's when you show power. And that's one of the things that has helped me to become resilient
Mm-hmm.
and find my way, keep pushing forward. I'm just so blessed that I've been met halfway every time by God showing me, confirming that I'm headed in the right direction. I need to keep pushing despite the external forces, voices that were not in my head, but coming from others telling me that I never would make it. My dreams would never come true or anything like that. But God's promise to me, I have a plan for you. You can't stop. You have to keep going. I knew, I knew his promise. I could trust him. I can't trust those other voices that are telling me I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I hear I can't, and I say I'm going to show you because I can and I will. That's what I want to encourage all of you today. I want you to know that those dreams, that vision that you have, those wants that you want, that are on your heart, they're placed there for a reason. And you have everything within you to make them become a reality. Every single one of us, God loves us all equally. We're all the same. He gives every single one of us everything we need to be able to rise above the obstacles and the challenges that you face so that you can overcome. Just
Mm-hmm.
as Jesus rose from the grave. When you choose to rise above and you choose to turn to him, because God's right there beside you. I promise you, you may not hear him. You may not know everything. I didn't always hear him. I didn't always know that he was listening to my prayers, but I'm proof today that he's always listening. And he's going to meet you halfway, but you have to stay committed. It's not going to be easy, but nothing worth doing ever comes easy.
That is true facts. And I just want to tell you, thank you for sharing your testimony because so many people need to hear this, especially in a world where there's so much negativity. They need to know that you can still push through no matter what the world is giving you, that our God is able.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I've been hearing for years what you focus on grows. So it's my mission and my purpose with my program to be able to teach people how to shift that perspective, turn
Mhm.
those negatives into a positive, because what you focus on grows. When you learn to be able to shift those negatives to positives, that's the first step to finding your resilience. That's the first step that you have to becoming unstoppable.
Mhm. It's always a shift of the mindset. A
Yep.
lot of people say that the mind is a powerful, powerful uh asset that you have,
Yeah.
and your mind can trick you
Mm-hmm.
into believing things that are not true.
Yeah.
So, you said you're an occupational therapist, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, your whole story is just so inspiring to me
I,
because people
yeah,
need.
and it's just me stepping out. I didn't
Mhm.
know how. I didn't know why. Changing my major 4 times, going to college for 8 years. I mean, you think I I would have stopped at some point trying to figure out what I was supposed to do. But then once I graduated with my degree in occupational therapy, that's when I saw all the possibilities because I've been able to shift that mindset, shift it, elevate it, so I can learn to live open to the possibilities. Then
Mhm.
years later, when you're becoming burnt out, I've learned that's when God is moving you. But
Mhm.
you have to be willing to move. You
Mhm.
may not know how, you may not know why, but as long as you are always willing to move, he's going to meet you halfway and get you where you need to be. He's
Mhm.
always moving, even when you don't see it. I would
Yes.
ask him where he was, but he has always protected me He has always been moving mountains behind the scenes my
Mhm.
whole life to get me where I needed to be. And
Mhm.
that is right here, right now, because if you're listening to this, there's a reason. He's got you listening to this for a reason. You need hope. The
Mhm.
hope that I have to offer is healing that opens pathways to empowerment.
Mhm.
He is that one source of healing that can heal you and just give you all the strength in the world. In my
Mhm.
weakness, he was my strength.
Mhm. Exactly. And it's like, there's like a verse that came to my mind whenever you said that he is your healing and your strength. So Psalm 62:7, I have it written down right here too. My salvation, my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Uh, I know there's a lot of therapists out there that are focused on spiritual healing, but they're more like the spiritual of the self. And the fact that you are focused on the spiritual healing, but of what God is focused on, that God is the healer, that it's not ourselves, it's Him. I have so much respect for you for that, for standing your ground on that part. Because can you tell our viewers why that difference of spiritualness is important for their healing?
I'm just gonna tell you what the clarity that God has brought me. He's let me know that He chose me. He chose me to be His messenger. I'm supposed to be living proof of His power, what He can do. I
Mhm.
have had people over the last several years, recently, within the last year, someone has told me a few different times that what works for me can't work for them. That's a lie. That is their mind playing tricks on them. That is the enemy. That is the world.
Mhm.
God has a plan for every single one of us. That
Mhm.
plan is so much greater than anything you could have asked or dreamt, even imagined. It's just amazing. His grace and His mercy, His love is more powerful than anything in this world. Back in 2017, God brought a friend into my life that He showed me that friend's heart. Showed me
Mhm.
that that friend, despite their struggles, has everything within them to be able to rise above those struggles and overcome.
Mhm.
He showed me that because He needed me to have absolutely no doubt that every single one of us has that within us. Because as you can see, what I've learned to overcome, I have it within me. That friend has it too, even if they don't see it. I
Mhm.
do. I see your potential. I know that you have everything within you because that was something that God brought clarity to me on.
Mhm.
That's a part of my message.
Mhm.
His love that night, He also let me feel His love that He has for all of us in this world. He doesn't love anybody more than anyone else. He loves us all equally. And I can tell you that that love that He let me feel that night, that is more powerful than anything in this world.
Mhm.
You may struggle, but He's right there with you. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 13 says, He will not allow you to be tested beyond your means, but with your testing, He will give you the way out.
Mhm.
With my testing, He has always shown me the way out.
Mhm.
I've been asking questions from 7 years ago that I asked continually, but I never got the answer until last year. And that
Mhm.
answer was to show me my way out. And when it clicked, I knew I was at complete peace.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. It's that amazing, overwhelming spiritual peace that God gives you whenever they say that anything of confusion is not of God, because when
Yeah.
God comes to you, He'll be very clear about what He wants you to do. And I believe that whenever it comes to following God and his purpose for you, he wants you to want to follow him. So it has to be a mindset shift.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people really understand that. Like God is a very patient God, but he already knows what you're gonna do before you do it. He knows what kind of life you're gonna have. He
Mhm.
just wants you to choose to follow him and trust him. And that's the kind of God we serve.
So I'm gonna add a little bit to that. He is patient, but he's persistent.
Mhm,
So God is the one who got me to that church that How to Celebrate Recovery.
mhm,
It took him moving, and from July of 2016 to January of 20 last Friday in January of 2017 before I finally saw. And he had to hit me upside the head to get me to open my eyes. I'm just glad he didn't use a 2x4 because but when he moves, he will use anything he can to get you where you need to be.
mhm,
Make it clear, but you have to keep moving.
mhm,
Matthew 7, verse 8 says, whoever asks receives, whoever seeks finds, whoever knocks, the door will be opened.
mhm,
That is what I've done. It's
mhm,
not going to always be easy. It wasn't easy early on for me, but the fact that I continue to do it each and every day through the struggles, through the heartache, through the loss, through the grieving, through the feeling ugly, invisible, being a nobody. That's what
mhm,
has given me my strength. That's what's given me my confidence.
mhm. I
That's
love
why
that.
I'm still here today to be able to help others find their way.
That's so beautiful. And I do resonate with you, like, where you said that people were just passing by you, like you were invisible. You didn't have a lot of friends. You didn't have a lot of people that wanted to spend time with you. I had that similar experience when I was in high school too, but it was because I didn't look popular. I didn't have like the nicest clothes or nicest shoes or the coolest things. Um, but I'll tell you what kept me going is that God is the kind of God that even though the world may not accept you, He's going to accept you with open arms
Yes.
every time,
Yes.
every time. And I always remember that even though we have people in this world that don't accept us, that they don't want us around, that they reject us or for any reason whatsoever, that Jesus is just right there. He's like this. He's like holding his
Yes.
arms out, like, come hug me. I got you.
Well, and the funny thing about that judgment, that rejection that I've learned, now it took me well over a decade to learn this, but that has nothing to do with you. That
Mhm,
has to do with their insecurities. You
mhm,
don't need them bringing you down.
mhm,
If you keep walking through the doors, going, putting one foot in front of the other, he's going to bring the people into your life that see you, that value you. That's going to improve your confidence. That's going to increase your confidence. That's going to increase your belief in yourself.
mhm,
And that belief is so powerful. I
mhm,
had to always believe in something greater than my current circumstances.
mhm,
That's what I'm giving you today. I
mhm,
want you to start believing in something greater than your current circumstances. If you are listening to the internal voices in your head, if you're listening to external voices telling you you can't, and you're beginning to believe them, I want you to shut them down. I want you to hear my voice saying, you can. I know you can. You have everything within you to make it happen. I'm giving you what I needed back in 2017. That one person who truly saw me, who truly valued me and believed in me. That's what
mhm,
I needed to gain confidence for what I was going to be walking into 3 years later that I had no idea was not going to be a good situation for me.
mhm,
It was going to put me in a very bad place where I was constantly being brought down. But God was moving those mountains beforehand, And he brought the people into my life that could boost my confidence so that when I got into that situation, he
Mhm.
continued to bring people into my life that saw me. So they would lift me up as I was being brought down on the other side by others.
Mhm.
So it evened out. I was able to keep my confidence to continue pushing forward to do what he had called me to do.
And I would like to piggyback on that about God bringing the right people around you. So, can you tell our viewers the importance of fellowshipping with the right group of people?
When you find the support from others who are Christian, believe in God, help lift you up, especially in those times when you're feeling down. Those people that lift you up, that's that's what gives you strength, especially during those hard times. There's been so many times that I would walk into one of my patients' rooms that needed me specifically as a therapist. And after I talking to them because I knew exactly what they were going through, they tell me, they said, "You were my angel. God sent you into my room because I needed you."
Mhm.
Those people that lift you up, those are priceless. Those are the most valuable gifts that you will ever receive.
Mhm.
Some people are in your life for a season, they come and go, but those people that make you stronger, that see your value, that boost your confidence, help you to believe in yourself, those are the true gifts.
Mhm.
It's priceless.
Mhm. And I know I was just talking with our pastor was talking this past Sunday. He said that one friend, you could be that one friend away from your destiny, from that life altering change in your life.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? You were so right about that because the company you keep could change your life one way or the other.
Yeah.
And if you surround yourself with negativity, thinking you're going to turn everybody positive, that's incorrect. It's not going to
No.
happen. So,
You
in
can
order for you to keep pushing, you need to be around people who are going to continue to keep pushing in the right direction.
exactly. You can't change anybody. They have to want to change themselves. Now you can encourage them and pray for them, but
Hmm.
I've learned that the hard way. That's what's difficult for me because I can see their potential
Hmm.
and see that they have what it takes, but if they don't choose and want to because they are surrounding themselves with the wrong crowd, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to let that go. When you learn to let that go, that's when you can be open to receive so much greater.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for being on my show. You have such a powerful testimony, a powerful life journey that you've had. I really believe a lot of people are going to need to hear. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on my show because that is what we're trying to do, inspire other people on their journey as well. But we do have a little segment on our show where we address the young adults in our program. So if you were to give a message to the young adults out there, what would you tell them?
The challenges that you face today are what makes the victory so much sweeter once you finally break through. So when you're being challenged, what I've learned, that helps me to know that I'm on the right track. Keep pushing forward. You're on the edge of a breakthrough. Let those challenges be proof that you are on the right track. Don't ever give up. Nothing worth doing ever comes easy. But I know
Mhm.
you can. You can do it.
Oh, I love that. Such great words. And she's right. There's nothing that in this life that isn't worth it that's going to be easy because life is it's not going to be easy. What God gives you, He wants you to work for it.
Mhm.
So that's a beautiful thing. So, for our viewers out there, Miss Elizabeth, can you tell them how to contact you for speaking engagements or
Yes.
information?
Yes, ElizabethInspires.com. You can set up to book a call with me to have me speak to your organization. I'd love to learn what kind of message you are wanting to bring to your organization. If you are currently dealing with challenges that you just can't see yourself to get through, scan my QR code. This is just one of the strategies that I had to develop going through those darkest moments of my life that helped me to learn how to shift my perspective. And one of my clients has recently told me that it helped her to see that nothing is a forever situation and better days are yet to come. So just don't give up.
I love that. Thank you, everybody. Please go follow her on her social media. Please go also follow What's Up Dallas Magazine. I I want to come back with another interview. I want to check in with you in a couple months. Will that be okay, Elizabeth?
Oh yes, I would love that. I'm very excited, and I see that as I continue to walk through the doors that he's opening, I'm seeing more and more possibilities, and they're on my heart. So keep watching. They're gonna happen.
Absolutely. God is a good God. And we're going to close out this episode with your favorite verse, Miss Elizabeth.
Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. That is the verse that brought me through. Thank
Such
you.
a great verse. Such a great verse. Such a great, great way to remember that God will always prosper you and bring you through. So thank you, Elizabeth, again for being on my show.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for everybody watching. We are going to be back with another episode. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.